Hello and welcome back to Art Therapy with Jenn. Today I'm going to be doing a magazine collage page in my Ideas Art Journal. And we're going to be chatting and catching up a little bit. Actually, a lot of bit, because it has been a hot minute and a half. And we have a lot of catching up to do, y'all. This has been a wild year so far. I'm going to be kind of showing y'all the page as I go and then switching back and forth to chatting. So if you're not into like the chatting part, I'll put timestamps down in the description box and you can just click ahead. Or I think YouTube does this fancy schmancy thing on the little play bar now that you can just click different sections. I mean, it's been a little bit for me, y'all. So I still need to research that. And I also want to say welcome back to my viewers that have been here for a while, and welcome to my new viewers. Like, I looked and I think I have like 1,700 subscribers or something, and I about fell over. So thank you all so much. All right, now let's get started into this page. I'm going to do my background first. If you see me before, I kind of just grab a bunch of images and I start setting them on there, trying to see what'll go with what. If I can't find anything, I'll take an image I like and I'll kind of rip it in half, and I'll put half on one side and half on the other side. And then we just kind of build up from there. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I turn things upside down, sideways. I'm not really looking at the content of the image for the most part, but the like shapes and textures, and if that makes sense. And there I go ripping things. This was very difficult for me to do, y'all, because I hadn't art journaled in a while and it felt almost like alien to me. Like my hands didn't know what to do. Y'all will see me when I start gluing that first piece down right there. Like the glue stick didn't feel right. I forgot how to do it. And I mean, I got used to it. After this first piece, it was just, it was great. But I would say it was like riding a bicycle, but I don't know how to ride a bicycle. Maybe rollerblading. I was a rollerblading kid. I was like a teen in the 90s. So I was a rollerblading kid. But it was just good to jump in, and I just want to add that in there because if you haven't art journaled in a while, or not even art journaling, like any hobby, or anything like that, or you're thinking about trying art journaling or whatever, just jump in and try it. I mean, worst case, you had some cool, like 30 minutes to an hour of just some gluing and just a little escape from any type of stresses you have. I mean, gluing is like therapeutic to me. I don't know. The glue stick is my glue of choice, and it's still there. So while I'm finishing that background, y'all can see me there. I just kind of want to do a little blurb as well about my channel for anybody that's newer here, because I've gotten some comments just asking me about different things. So this is a very laid back art journaling channel. There is no gatekeeping here. I very much despise gatekeeping. And by that, I mean, you have to have this material, that material, and you have to use this, and you have to do this technique, and this, or you're not really in this community and stuff like that. Like, I hate that. It makes me nauseous. I don't want it. I mean, it's really laid back. I'm not a step-by-step tutorial channel either. So I just kind of like to show people like, hey, this is the kooky stuff I'm getting up to right now, and I'm having fun with. And that's the big thing for me too. It needs to be fun. It needs to be relaxing. This is an escape from like my stressful life. I don't want rules. There are no rules here. The only rule is there's no rules. And just to show y'all stuff so that like, you may not have the same magazines as I do. Shoot fire. You may not have magazines at all, but it's like, wait a minute. I got that clothing catalog the other day. I bet you I could do something with that. Or I got that packaging there. I bet you I could do something with that. Or shoot fire, I went to the Walmart and they had that 50-cent apple barrel paint, and I bet you I could do something with that. So it's just kind of showing y'all what I'm doing just to give ideas, because that's what I really like doing. I follow a lot of like art accounts on Instagram, which I need to be more active on there. I know. I need to be more active in everything. I've only been active in work. We'll get into that in a minute. But just to see what people are doing, because I think if you kind of watch creative things, it sparks something in you. And that's kind of I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like, you get in the mood to, like, do artsy things and hobbies. And I don't know. I said all that just to ramble to say, we're real laid back here. There's no, like, you must like this person. You must use these materials. You must use this. I mean, just do what you want. It's supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to not be stressful, right? I don't know. That's my little thing. So, yeah. We're just having fun with it, and we just go with it. And sometimes we rip pages in half by accident, but you know what? Sometimes that ends up being better than what we intended. But anyway, I'm rambling on. So let me start getting y'all caught up on stuff. So let's start with the awesome stuff, okay? So main big things that's happened in my life. We'll talk about my home renovation, my college, and my work, and whatever else we have time for. So a little background if you're new here or it's been a while. So I work full time. I am, and I never knew the term before this year, I am a essential worker. I work in the financial industry. And I was also going to school in the evenings and online. So this year's been a doozy. And I've been renovating my home. I have a home that's close to 100 years old, and we've been working on it for about 3 years now, because we DIY everything. We pay for it ourselves. Like, there's another little blurb about me with art journaling. I am cheap. I would say frugal, but I'm pretty cheap too. That's one reason I really like using magazines. When I first started doing art, like, I would just get all these magazines. I worked at a library, and all their magazines that would, they were going to trash or recycle, I would just take. But anyway, whole nother story, whole nother day. I'm cheap. Another reason I use glue sticks too. But let's talk about the house stuff, because it just blows my mind. The intro video I had on here with the cats, full disclosure, I filmed that quite a little while ago, probably a month and a half ago, before my kitchen was redone, and it's just wild to kind of see the old kitchen. But we got the kitchen redone except for the floor, and my uncle does flooring, so we're just waiting to hear back from him to proceed on that. Living room's done, dining room's completely done. It's been great. The kitchen is such a transformation. Like, I have pictures on my personal Instagram, Jenn with the cats. Lord have mercy. I still can't believe it. And it was super cheap and budgety. Again, I'm cheap. I like stuff to last, but I'm cheap. And another huge thing, you may notice that my glue stick isn't as creamy as it usually is in my videos filmed during the summer, because y'all, we got central air. What? I have air conditioning. I have never lived in air conditioning. What? I'm so excited. Y'all don't even know. And on that note, we're going to take a close-up of my background here, because we're finished with the background. So that's kind of what it's looking like. What kind of vibe y'all thinking it's got? What kind of story? Because I like to tell a story with my magazine pages. What's this story? It's looking kind of urban, maybe, with all the street lights and stuff. I don't know. But we're going to move on to the next step. And we're going to look at focal images and my people pictures. So I just had a bunch, like, before I started this, I just took some, that's actually, I think, a Fancy Feast can box. That's when you buy in bulk. That's when you know you're a serious cat lady. But I took the Fancy Feast box there, and I just divided all my images into, like, what I might use for background, what I might use for people, etc. and so forth. And then just like I do with the background, kind of, I lay them there, and then I start sorting, and I think, maybe, no, maybe, no, and I just do piles. And that's what you'll see me do here. And this is kind of, I like this part, because this is where the story really starts developing and stuff. Okay, so back to chatting while I'm doing that. Because I left all this part in, because I know some of y'all, I usually skip a lot of these parts in the videos, but some of y'all like to see kind of this whole process. And, and I'm watching TV or blasting music. Actually, I think I'm watching a telenovela during this time. I'm almost done with it. False Identity, or don't kill me, my Spanish is terrible. Falsa Identidad. I'm so sorry. I really wish I knew Spanish, because I have people that I do service for and wait on all the time that speak mostly Spanish, and it kills me that I can't communicate effectively with them, and what few words I know, I probably say them so terribly they can't understand what I'm saying. Like, that may be one of my 5-year goals, is to get better at Spanish. But anyway, whole nother story, a whole nother day. I'm on like episode 83 of 91, and I'm invested, y'all. I'm invested. But anyway, so I talked about my house. I have air conditioning. Did I mention that? I have air conditioning. I can blow dry my hair and not sweat to death. Like, y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. I've never had central air my whole life. Like, I turned 35 this year, and I have not had central air. But anyway, so let's talk about school. So some of y'all know, I went back to school last year, something I swore I would never do, because believe it or not, I really hate school. And like, I'm older now, and I don't know, it's very different. It's very different. College is a whole different animal now. I like it a lot better, though, actually, a lot of it. So I was taking a online course, and I was taking a lecture course at night once a week. And I had my whole thing planned out. I had like an hour in between. I was filming videos, and my schedule was good. And then all this crazy stuff happened, and we went on spring break, and then the school campus completely closed, understandably so. And so my online course wasn't really affected because it was online, but my lecture course, woo, son. So they ended up extending, I think spring break lasted a total of 3 weeks instead of 1 week. But then when we came back from spring break, so they had to move it to an online format somehow. So we had all these lectures we had to watch, because my professor, bless his soul, he went up there and got a camera and filmed all this lectures. But I guess where there wasn't students in there, he talked very fast, and some of it I had to watch like 4 or 5 times because it was economics, and that's not really in my wheelhouse anyway. But anyway, and when we came back from spring break, those 2 weeks that the campus was closed, our spring break was extended, my professor decided to take all the work from those 2 weeks that we didn't know was due, because we didn't know what the format was going to look like. And then the week we came back, and crammed that 3 weeks of work all into that week we came back. So I pretty much hit the ground running, and I said to myself, I'm like, Jennifer, we're just going to bust it. Yeah, I talk to myself sometimes. We're just going to bust it. And I am going to do these finals, and I am going to end this semester early. I'm going to take finals early, what have you. And that's what I did. Every single free minute of my life and soul I put into, like, every minute I wasn't at work, I put into school. So that was when I first stopped making videos. And I graduated from my online course a month early. And then from my I say hybrid, it was a lecture course, and then it turned into an online course. And I don't know, the day that final opened, because we had like a certain window we could take it online, I took it and the extra credit exam like the hour it opened, and I was done. So I think I finished my finals and stuff like first week of April, and school didn't end until like mid-May, or it was sometime in April, because there was a weird work thing going on. I'll get into that. But I got A's. My computer class, I got a 99. And then I think economics, I got like a 97, 98. So, and I graduated. Woo! Didn't get to have a graduation, though. Bless their hearts. I will say that college has just been ace with all this crap. Like, it has been so good with communication and everything. I feel really bad for the youngins, though, that like this is a really big deal to them. This is my second degree. Didn't go to my first graduation either because I couldn't afford it. They made you pay like $150, but whole nother story, whole nother day. I don't think they do that now. My college now didn't charge a cent, and they even bought me a cap and gown. It was great. But they're doing like like, they postponed the graduation. I had already taken off work for this graduation day. I couldn't take off any more work, so I wouldn't be able to go, and now they're having a drive-through graduation, but whatever. Your girl has an accounting degree now, so degree number 2. Woo! And funny enough, when I graduated college the first time with my bachelor's, that was when the Great Recession hit, because I graduated December 07, and now I graduated. It's me. When I go to college, I bring it about. No, just kidding, y'all. All right. And you kind of see there, I've picked my images there, and back to the page, right? I forgot how much fun I had just getting on here and making videos, y'all. Just humor me a minute. I'm kind of having fun with it. And I worked like 10 hours today, and it's been a day. But I've picked my images there. We'll go back to the page. And my story's starting to come together. And I'm digging it. And I see this color story. And these, just different elements going together. And I kind of chose some of them. I wanted to keep the background and rip it. Some I wanted to take the background completely out. I just kind of experiment with it. And I place them around to kind of see how it's going to flow on the page and how it's going to tell that story. And I started with that hand with the apple in it from a jewelry ad. And then I kind of went off from there. And it almost gives me fall vibes. I'm looking at it now. Fall just needs to get on here. All right. I know that's a stereotype for me, but it just needs to get on here. It's hot. Now with all this crazy stuff, and I'll get into that in a minute, they're having to turn off part of the air conditioners at work, and no. It's hot. We can't have that. All right, and you see there, I had this thing from a jewelry ad that looked really nice. I wanted to see if I could kind of use it somewhere on there, because it looked like a flower, but it was made out of jewels. And I just kind of play around with that, kind of seeing, because it's there. I really like that page on the right with the arm and everything, but the left page, I don't know. Like, the flow is not quite right yet. It's getting there. It's like 85% there, but I'm just not feeling it. Do y'all have that same experience when you're doing art journaling? It's like, it's done, and you know when it's not done. And see, I just tore off his legs, and it just worked. Because I decided I did want to use that train from the background as part of the story. Y'all see it coming together yet? Y'all got any? What story y'all see? And I think it's fun too. I don't do like any concrete type stories, because depending on what your life experience is, and depending on your perspective and what you've lived through, what media you've been exposed to, etc., and so forth, you're going to see different things than what I'm going to see. And I find that just fascinating. I love it. So we're going to glue them people on down, because I am happy with where they are. I am happy with the flow of it. I'm digging it, and glue it down. There's no moving now. We're committed. But with me, so I saw kind of two stories here. So on the left side, you see the guy up top there, and then the woman with her child there. And then on the left, you see this woman, looking up at the tree, looking down, maybe a musician, and then this apple that's, significant. And to me, so that child on the left side, that could be the woman on the right, or the mother could be the woman on the right, depending on how you look at it. And I see this apple as some type of significant memory in the hand. And the girl at the bottom there, she's wearing a sweater the same color as that apple, and she's looking up at what I'm just going to use creative license and say it's an apple tree, even though it's probably not. So there's some memory. And then I think she uses these memories to create music, and it's kind of this theory of behind the music, there's these memories and feelings, if that makes sense. So we're going to take a closer up look there. This maybe they're missing this man here. Maybe it's her husband, boyfriend, maybe it was her father. but it's some type of memory that she's harnessed artistically, because that's an image of her in front of a microphone. And does that make sense? That's kind of where I'm going with it. So now the next step I do, and I like doing it, is my word bin. So I'm going to go through, and this is something, okay, I just love doing this, and it may be kind of weird. I am very tactile, I think is the word. I like to get my hands in there, and that's kind of how I learn. That's kind of, so I don't like all my stuff completely sorted out and all this other stuff. I really need to do a new video on kind of how I store things. But I'm going to go through like every little piece and look at it, and maybe it's like Marie Kondo. Does this spark joy? Does this spark inspiration? And just kind of lay it on the page and, start seeing what story comes together. I like just having just a bin of words and just going through it, if that makes sense. Alrighty, so let's talk about what has been taking up most of my time and why I've not been on here at work. So I am an essential worker. That is not a fun thing to be, let me tell you. And so I'd say I work in the financial industry, so it has been crazy and stressful, and some good stuff and some bad stuff. Super stressful. Around about the mid-March. I don't want to get into details because I'm not dumb like that talking about things, but it got so stressful in the location I was in. And then they ended up shutting our lobbies, and so I went to help with call center, which bless anyone who works inbound call center for tech support, or like I was working with, we did just about everything in call center. It blew my mind. But the type of people you get and how rude they are, like how rude people are in general, that's a whole nother video onto itself. Like, I don't know how people can be this rude, and like, I don't understand. Like, I've worked in customer service oriented jobs for almost 20 years. And people have always been rude, but here lately, Lord help, it has been like times 100. I don't understand. Like, go eat a Snickers. Like, God. But anyway, so I helped out in call center. And then I ended up helping in back office. So I am very thankful while the lobbies were closed, I was still working. And I really loved that back office job. It was great. Then the lobbies opened back up, and we were, we had to wear masks. We had to wear gloves. We had to wipe down all the time. I am at least 10% hand sanitizer at this point. I mean, very, very stressful. And we were insanely busy. And again, people were being hateful to the max. We were having to limit the number of people inside the building. So we'd have to take turns being like door people and counting the number of people. And then it gets real awkward because it's like 90 degrees outside and you're making people stand outside. And I hate it, but it happened. And it was just, it's been crazy. People are crazy. People are crazy. But going back a little bit, when I was working back office when our lobbies were closed, I think that's when they did the stay at home order in Tennessee. I think that was all during April. And y'all, one good thing that came out of that, like, the traffic was amazing. Like, it was essentials only. And let me tell you, us essentials, like, we want to get to work, and we want to get to work now. Like, it cut 15 minutes off my commute. It was amazing. But it was really crazy during that time because I felt like I almost worked in a different department every day. Like, it was really like scrambling. I'd come in, you're going here, you're going there. And it was so stressful to me. And it was even more stressful because I talked a little bit about, like, when I graduated college. I graduated during the first recession. Let's just go back a little bit. And extra stressful for me because I had this bomb job lined up that I had interned for, that I had done all these interviews for. I mean, the big interviews when you're having to be interviewed in front of a whole group of people and you're doing 4 and 5 different interviews to get to different levels and blah, I've been interviewing with this place for like a year, and then I graduated and I was supposed to have that job, and then the recession hit, the mid to late, or I don't know, the recession around that time. The 2000 years still confuse me, and I've been living in them for 20 years. But, and that job just disappeared overnight, and I ended up having to go and really humble myself and just go and work at a grocery store for a while, which I know a lot of people are doing right now too. And kudos to you. I have been there. That is hard freaking work. And, I was like early 20s at the time, and it made me so angry because I wasn't emotionally mature, and a whole nother story, whole nother day. So this was really stressing me out, wore me out. We were so tired. I would just come home and just and that's when all the school stuff was happening. So I'd come home and do school and then collapse on the bed. But after that, I graduated, and then the lobbies opened back up. So I was sent back to work in the lobby. And like I said, we were limiting, we were doing gloves, we were doing masks, we were doing wiping down, we were doing hand sanitizer, Lysol in the air. We eventually finally got plexiglass shields because people would just openly cough and snot on you like they've always done, because again, people. I mean, one good thing coming out of this is I haven't gotten the flu this year, so or any other crud that I usually collect, because people will literally openly cough in your face before all this happened. Again, I worked customer service for almost 20 years. It has been a struggle. And then it kind of escalated from there. So, no, let me talk about something good first, and then we'll get back to that mess. So, and then in the midst of this, there were a couple positions posted where I work, and they both paid a little better than what I was making, and they were just kind of a growth for my my career and all that. That's one reason I wanted to work at this company, was there such opportunity for upward mobility. So I applied to 2 positions. And one of them was at the location that I was currently working at. It was just a different position. I went and had that interview, killed the interview, qualified for it and everything. But unfortunately, because of all this, the training was completely frozen. So they ended up giving it to somebody who already had the training, which is completely understandable. It still sucks because of the stupid thing, but it is what it is. I'm going to pause on that talking right now to show y'all, because I almost got my words together there, and then we'll get back to that. So, played around with my words, and I finally got my story coming together, y'all. So it says Thunderstrike, life on pause, the fall started here. Then it says healing power of music, behind the queen. Connect, rediscover, there was no reward greater on earth. So I imagine she's like a very well-known singer, and there's a lot of that people don't know behind all her lyrics and all her, there's a story there. It's deep, y'all. It's deep. So now I'm going to get around and doodle and have a little fun. I love this part too. This part's very therapeutic to me. I'm just going to take Sharpie, go around, make a border. That's what I like doing. And I'm left-handed, so I got to be strategic about it. I got to start on the right side. But while I'm doing that and doodling and everything, let's get back to, I was talking about my interview. So, my interview, I killed it. I've been in this industry, 4.5 years now. Can't believe that. And I have, customer service of almost 20 years. And it was just unfortunate because of that. And then the whole company went on a hiring freeze, like a complete hiring freeze. So I was like, okay, it is what it is. Didn't think anything of it, yada, yada, yada. So then I told y'all there was another position. So I applied for 2 positions at this time because honestly, I need my financial situation to get better. because I do not make very much money. So any little bit will help. And, I have experience and I really want to move up. So I had totally forgotten about it. And then gosh, it was like a month and a half later or something. I get this random email of, hey, Jennifer. Hey, Jenn. Jennifer just sounds so formal. What time's good for you to come in to interview? I was like, what? So, I went straight to my manager, let her know what was going on. My manager there was so bomb. She was so cool, so understanding, like night and day of what I've had in the past. Just night and day. She's amazing. She was so happy for me. Like, she was sad to lose me, but she was genuinely so happy and encouraging. So, I went and did this interview for this position, which is similar to what I do now, but different. So, because the company I work for now, they are completely on the cusp of technology. So they have all these things, they are the forefront in the area for this. So I went and did my interview, and it was kind of neat because I had to do the interview partially on camera. So thank you, YouTube. You prepared me for this. And went over, did the interview, all that. Luckily, it was just kind of next door to where I was working. I thought I did pretty good in the interview. I don't know, maybe someday on my other channel, I need to do interview tips, because when I was unemployed, when I moved back here, I did so many dang interviews, y'all. But, I was just myself, and, it was a position that I knew very well, and but I was still nervous about it. And of course, I'm an anxious ball of worry. And I didn't hear anything back for a week or so. And then I found out I got offered the job. It's a little bit more than I'm making now, which is awesome. And it's not I'm still doing a customer service oriented thing that was similar to what I was doing, but I'm not actually in person with people. So I'm no longer exposed to 150 people a day. I mean, I worked at a very, very, very busy location, and I have no idea how I did not get sick, especially with how I'm in the middle of a hot spot right now. A whole nother story, whole nother day. I'm not going to get political or anything. I mean, I don't think, idiots is political. If you an idiot, you're an idiot, but whatever. A whole nother story, a whole nother day. So I have been actually working in that position for the last 3 weeks. So I've kind of been getting acclimated to that. It's a lot better schedule for me. It's a lot less stressful. I mean, there's still stress. It's super busy. But it's just a different kind. I get to set. I couldn't set in my last position, so kudos for that. But anyway, so this, I need to do some type of page with going back and forth, talking about how when I graduated college the first time, I lost my job and in the middle of the recession, and then when I graduated this time, I actually got a promotion. So I don't know, I feel very blessed, and it still blows my mind. It blows my mind. But and it was so much less stressful because the last 2 or 3 weeks before I left the branch, we were having to require people to wear masks and stay behind plexiglass shields. And honestly, I would lose my voice because I was having to talk to grown people like they were toddlers all day. I just can't. I can't. Very simple instructions, alternatives if they don't want to follow the instructions. And I mean grown people that have lived a life that I have to talk like a toddler. It's on top of the busy job. I was at my wit's end. I was about to just walk out to the turnpike and be done with it. I tell y'all, I'm kidding, but it really was stressful. And it's just, this position ended up working out a lot better because I do want to eventually, be back office, which is in the same building, and, better pay, better hours, a lot less, kind of laborious. So, loving that. And I'm not having to get on to people every 5 seconds like they're toddlers. I just can't, y'all. We'll just put this in here a little bit. So, we required people, they had to wear masks to come in the building. We would provide paper masks if they couldn't. Most people were understanding with it, I will say, but there's probably about 20%. Either they wanted to be butts or they genuinely, I don't know. So they would put their mask on and walk up to my station and pull it off. And I'm like, no, you have to put that back on. You really do. So then they put it on, but then when they talked to me, they'd pull it down when they'd talk and they'd pull it back up. And I had this plexiglass shield in front of me. It was probably about 2 feet wide or so. So they would make a whole point of pulling the mask down, putting their head around the plexiglass and talking to me. And I was just like, dear Lord. And the plexiglass would get so nasty by the end of the day. Like, it haunts me. But anyway, enough of that. Let's look at my doodles up close here. So I did the Sharpie, and then I went around with one of my favorites, my white gel pen, because y'all, I was cleaning my office and I found a whole stash of white gel pens that I didn't know I had. So score. And I'm just doing these little vines because I want to connect this story together, the words and the pictures. I'm not covering the whole page. I just want to connect all those words together in like one big thing. And then I just up and decided to take some flare pens out and just add some color to that. So you're just going to see me just playing around there, just adding color. It's kind of subtle, but I had fun with it. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for, being here and watching this with me. And I really appreciate it because it has been a stressful few months. It's still very stressful because when I went back to the position I'm in now, the lobby's closed again. So now my department, we're actually responsible for doing all the things that the lobbies did. So just in a more distant and remote way. So it's interesting. I still have to talk to people like toddlers sometimes, but not as bad. I have learned people do not follow directions very well, because a part of my job is now to kind of guide people. It's new for a lot of people, and give them directions on specific steps that we need to do to complete what we need to do. But anyway, y'all don't want to hear about all that. That is boring. But that's kind of what I've been doing. I hope everybody has been staying safe, staying healthy. I've just been trying to distance myself from people as much as I can, especially when I was in the branch and I was around 150 to 200 people a day, because it is getting pretty terrible where I live right now. So I really hope everybody is being safe and healthy. We're going to look back on this and we won't forget it, and it'll be some story to tell. And I'll be here art journaling now, taking away some of the stress, having fun. I've decided I'm not going to go back to school at least until next April, just because I don't feel comfortable making that financial commitment at this moment. So I'm going to be doing some art journaling. I was so glad I did this page. I loved how it turned out. And I just need to jump on in and keep doing the pages, Just jump in there. Just have fun. Just do whatever. But we're going to take a close-up look at this page that we finished. And thank y'all so much. And I will see y'all soon. Bye, guys.